Herzlich willkommen zur aufregenden Veranstaltung über künstliche Intelligenz und ihre Potenziale für eine alternde Gesellschaft. Ich bin begeistert, dass wir heute die Chance haben, uns mit der Gedankensteuerung von Robotern und Drohnen auseinanderzusetzen und zu erkunden, wie diese Technologien das Leben älterer Menschen verbessern können. Ich glaube, dass wir hier einen bedeutenden Schritt in Richtung einer gerechteren und innovativeren Gesellschaft machen können. Ich freue mich darauf, gemeinsam mit Ihnen in eine Zukunft zu blicken, in der KI-basierte Technologien einen positiven Beitrag für eine alternde Gesellschaft leisten können.
Das sagt der viel diskutierte Chatbot ChatGPT von OpenAI, wenn ich ihn mit den Rahmendaten unserer heutigen Veranstaltung füttere und bitte eine begeisterte Begrüßung zu schreiben. Rein fachlich korrekt und auch definitiv ein bisschen begeistert. Glauben Sie, ChatGPT könnte mich in kürzester Zeit ersetzen? Okay, ich fange ja gerade erst an zu begrüßen, insofern hoffe ich, die Meinung ändert sich noch. Das Thema KI, künstliche Intelligenz, ist zurzeit tatsächlich in aller Munde. Der Deutsche Ethikrat hat tatsächlich heute einen 287 Seiten umfassenden Bericht namens Mensch und Maschine, Herausforderungen durch künstliche Intelligenz herausgebracht. Darin heißt es, künstliche Intelligenz müsse die menschliche Entfaltung erweitern und dürfe sie nicht vermindern. Man sieht dort große Chancen der Nutzung, aber auch große Risiken und vor allem einen ganz großen Diskussionsbedarf. Wie ist Ihre Meinung zur künstlichen Intelligenz, liebes Publikum, und dem Leben im Alter? Wir haben eine Umfrage vorbereitet, an Sie gerne jetzt schon während dieser Begrüßung teilnehmen können. Sie sehen dort oben Das ist zu früh. Genau, wir wollen das sehen, und zwar www.menti.com. Wenn Sie das auf Ihrem Handy oder zu Hause am PC eingeben, kommen Sie auf unsere Umfrage und können dort den Code 184589197 eingeben, wo wir 3 kurze Fragen vorbereitet haben, wo wir einmal zum Aufwärmen, zum Anfang Ihre Meinung, Ihre Haltung zum Thema künstliche Intelligenz und Leben im Alter abfragen wollen. Am Ende meiner Begrüßung werde ich dann einen Blick zusammen mit Ihnen auf Ihre Antworten werfen und ganz am Ende der Diskussion, unserer Podiumsdiskussion, möchten wir Sie die gleichen Fragen dann nochmal fragen, um zu gucken, ob unser Gespräch hier heute einen Einfluss auf Ihre Haltung gehabt habe. Ich persönlich glaube im Gegensatz zu dem Großteil des Publikums nicht, dass ich so schnell durch künstliche Intelligenz ersetzt werden kann, denn technische Vision und Innovation haben eine weitere Komponente, die von Algorithmen nur sehr schwierig wiedergegeben werden können, nämlich unsere Fantasie. Stellen Sie sich vor, was Sie denken passiert. Sie denken Licht an und es wird hell. Sie denken, mir ist kalt und es wird warm, die Heizung geht an. Ihre physische Umwelt tritt scheinbar selbstständig in Aktion, nur weil Sie in Ihrem Kopf die richtigen Gedanken formen. Das klingt nicht nach Science Fiction wie in unserem Titel, das klingt tatsächlich nach Fantasy. An alle im Publikum, die Harry Potter gelesen haben, wenn Sie noch traurig sind, dass der Brief aus Hogwarts nie kam, wir müssen nicht mehr lange warten. Mein Name ist Jonathan Petzold. Ich begrüße Sie heute Abend im Körber-Forum und zu Hause vor den Bildschirmen. Schön, dass Sie dabei sind bei unserer Veranstaltung Science Fiction oder Realität, künstliche Intelligenz als Chance im Alter. Ich leite das Programm Alter und Digitalisierung in der Körber-Stiftung und die heutige Veranstaltung ist der Auftakt unserer hamburgweiten Aktionswoche Eingeloggt. Gemeinsam mit den Hamburger Bücherhallen und der Volkshochschule Hamburg und weiteren Partnerinnen und Partnern aus der ganzen Stadt machen wir auf Angebote zur Digitalisierung Älterer aufmerksam. Und da gibt es tatsächlich eine ganze Menge. Das ist von Smartphone-Sprechstunden über digitales Basteln, eine Suchmaschine extra nur für Ältere, bis hin zu Robotik, digitale Selbstverteidigung und künstliche Intelligenz. Und natürlich ChatGPT ist auch dabei. Schauen Sie einfach auf www.eingeloggt.net nach. Wir haben die Flyer hier auch überall ausliegen. Insofern gucken Sie sich das an. Da laufen die ganze Woche noch sehr spannende Angebote. Wir als Körber-Stiftung beschäftigen uns mit der Frage, wie wir die 2 Megatrends Alterung und Digitalisierung schon heute vor Ort, aber auch in Zukunft zusammenbringen können. Denn stärker als heute kann Technologie in Zukunft inklusiver wirken. Wo wir uns heute mit Benutzerinnenoberflächen und komplizierten Geräteeinstellungen herumschlagen müssen, werden wir in Zukunft denken. Cogito ergo sum. Ich denke, also bin ich. Wer hat's gesagt? Sehr schön. René Descartes, und zwar 1641. Ich denke, also bewege ich, würde wohl Dr. Nataliya Kosmyna im Jahr 2023 sagen. Sie ist heute Abend unser Gast und wird uns eine Welt zwischen Fantasy, Science Fiction und der Realität entführen, in der Drohnen nur durch die Kraft der Gedanken abheben und Roboter auf unsere Gehirnströme hören. Künstliche Intelligenz macht es möglich. It's an honor and great pleasure to have you here, Nataliya. Nataliya Kosmyna wird uns gleich noch von unserer Moderatorin Katharina Heckendorf ausführlicher vorgestellt. Katharina Heckendorf ist Wirtschaftsjournalistin und Moderatorin, deswegen haben wir sie hier. Sie hat ihr Handwerk an der Kölner Journalistenschule für Politik und Wirtschaft gelernt und parallel dazu an der Universität zu Köln Volkswirtschaftslehre und Politikwissenschaften studiert. Ihre Artikel sind unter anderem in der Zeit, dem Digitalmagazin T3N, der Wirtschaftswoche oder dem Technology Review erschienen. Das Medium-Magazin hat sie 2019 zu einer der Top 30 bis 30 Nachwuchsjournalistinnen des Landes gewählt. Sie beschäftigt sich mit Themen wie künstliche Intelligenz und dem Wandel der Arbeitswelt. Sie ist also als Expertin genau die richtige Person für dieses Gespräch. Und wir freuen uns, Frau Heckendorf schon wieder hier bei uns im Körperforum begrüßen zu dürfen. Wir wollen heute über die Chancen von künstlicher Intelligenz für eine alternde Gesellschaft sprechen. Aber wie immer im Körperforum geht es natürlich auch um ein kritisches Gespräch, um ethische, soziale, rechtliche, moralische Fragen. Eine Technologie, die unsere Gehirnströme vermisst, lässt mich beim Gedanken an autoritäre Regime genauso gruseln, wie sie mich vorher in Faszination versetzt hat. Schauen wir uns mal an, wie Ihre Haltung zum Thema ist. Und jetzt hätte ich gerne das Bild von gerade eben. So, unsere erste Frage war, künstliche Intelligenz wird das Leben im Alter verbessern. Achso, Übersetzung, ja. Da haben wir einen Wert von 4. Das heißt, es wird tatsächlich tendenziell zugestimmt von 60 Teilnehmenden. Die zweite Frage war, künstliche Intelligenz macht mein Leben bereits heute leichter. Da sind wir noch so ein bisschen ambivalent. Und die dritte Frage war, ich nutze künstliche Intelligenz ganz bewusst in meinem Alltag. Da sind wir tatsächlich ein bisschen mehr auf der Seite, ich stimme nicht zu. Das ist spannend. Wir gucken mal, ob sich das heute im Verlauf des Abends noch ändert, Ihre Einschätzung. Sehr schön, es ändert sich jetzt schon. Gut, nach dem Gespräch von Frau Kosmyna und Frau Heckendorf werden wir die Umfrage noch einmal einspielen und mal gucken, ob sich da was getan hat. Gut, außerdem möchte ich Sie natürlich alle herzlich einladen, sich am Gespräch selbst zu beteiligen, nicht nur durch Umfragen, sondern direkt persönlich. Sobald Katharina Heckendorf die Runde eröffnen wird, werden meine Kolleginnen Rebecca Jakob und Lara Westphal mit den Saalmikros im Raum unterwegs sein. Sie können dann selbst direkt Fragen stellen, direkt in die Diskussion kommen. Und unser Online-Publikum kann später über die gleiche Mentimeter-Umfrage online Fragen einreichen, sodass Sie sich dann auch beteiligen können. Und meine Kollegin Katharina Römer wird es dann gerne hier in den Saal weiterreichen. Und im Anschluss sind Sie, die den Weg hierher ins Körperforum gefunden haben, natürlich noch, wie Sie das kennen, sehr herzlich eingeladen, bei einem Getränk das Gespräch fortzusetzen und vielleicht auch einmal die Technologie zu probieren. Das gucken wir mal. Da die Veranstaltung auf englischer Sprache stattfindet, denken Sie bitte daran, jetzt Ihre Übersetzungsgeräte einzuschalten. Es geht jetzt nämlich los und ich bin fertig. Ich wünsche uns allen einen schönen Abend und freue mich auf ein gutes Gespräch über die Chancen künstlicher Intelligenz für eine alternde Gesellschaft. Und Katharina Heckendorf, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome from my side to our panel discussion about the topic Science Fiction or Reality, Artificial Intelligence as an Opportunity for the Old Age. My name is Katharina Heckendorf and I will moderate this event. Today we will discuss the challenges but also the opportunities of a technology that combines artificial intelligence and brain-computer interaction. This technology is rapidly evolving, and it could improve our lives very soon, especially in situations where we cannot move our bodies, but we still can control our minds, our brains. But we will also discuss the ethical limitations of a technology that is directly connected to the most private thing we humans have, our thoughts. I'm happy to introduce you to our guest. She's a technologist and a researcher. She studied artificial intelligence and the web in France, and she holds a PhD in informatics from Université Grenoble in France. Today, she is a researcher at the Media Lab of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the MIT. She's the founder of several startups, including Brainy. Overall, she's a highly accomplished researcher and innovator in the field of wearable technology and human-computer interaction, and we are pretty happy she's here today. Please welcome Nataliya Kosmyna. In one of your first TED Talks in 2016, you said, "I work in a technology that is considered as ridiculous or even dangerous." Why is that?
First of all, good evening, everyone. Guten Abend. That's how about my German will end here. However, I will try to speak slowly, and you are very welcome to ask, obviously, questions in German. I know we have translations in English or in French. That's just as a little introduction from me. And very happy to have you all here. Regarding the technology, I hear a lot about, I'm pretty sure you all also hear about metaverse, AR, XR, and I hear that in the next 10 years we're going to wear those headsets. And knowing the technology, building some of those today, I can tell you that we are still pretty far from, having it on us, with us. But where we are not far is of having our physiological data monitored continuously. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are having some type of Apple Watch or Fitbit, technologies that can already sense your heart rate, your respiration. This technology can help you. These devices are getting closer and closer to our body. And the next frontier, the final frontier we're going to bridge, is going to be our brain data. We're going to see today why the technology is not a science fiction anymore. It's not a fantasy anymore. It's not yet a reality either, but how we are building this today and why it is so, so dangerous.
Yeah. So in 2016, you said the technology is considered as ridiculous or even dangerous. Do you think it's the same 2023?
It is dangerous. It's not ridiculous anymore. It's very, very dangerous. It's our thoughts. Everything you feel, everything you think about, everything you desire for lunch, for dinner, what you feel towards your partner.
Mm-hmm. Let's do a quick deep dive. How does this technology work exactly? What is brain-computer interaction?
So we use sensors, invasive or non-invasive, and we will put them either inside of the head of a person or outside. And I know we have some videos and photos coming of that. Your brain produces electricity, among other signals. And we can pick up this signal, this electrical signal, and then train a system, AI system, to recognize this pattern. So it's not reading the thoughts. That's not a correct expression. Actually, we don't do this in science. We don't read thoughts. It's not possible neither with my systems, nor with any other system as of today. But we can actually pick up when you're thinking about something that looks like a pattern, so repetitive. For example, I will ask you, oh, would you like a glass of wine? And if you were not born blind, you actually might know exactly how a glass of wine looks like. And even when I pronounced it, you already visualize it in your brain. Mm-hmm. This is what we can pick up.
Mm-hmm. So maybe now's the time to watch the video. Yesterday we took the time to check how this technology works, and you will see if I'm able to control a robot with my mind. So, direction, run the film.
We are today trying to control this little robot using what's called brain-computer interface system. So this looks like a pretty much regular pair of glasses, as you can see. However, they are smart glasses. These glasses have sensors on the back of the ears and also on the bridge of the nose. They can pick up physiological activity coming from your brain activity and your eye movements activity. Here you go if you want to give them a try.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm wearing glasses regularly, so it is a bit heavier, but overall I think you can get used to it pretty easily.
So now I'm gonna turn an application that we have developed.
Time to do new training.
We're gonna try to control the robot. So once I'm gonna hit start, you basically need to get very focused. I usually say, you can do like mental math or something like, in your head, mental calculus, like something that you're super, super, super focused, and the robot will move. So the electrical signal coming from your brain and from your eye movements, be streaming it to the app, and then we'll get the classification output, meaning that the app will get a signal and it will send the signal to the robot to move. If you are not being focused, the app will send a signal to stop. Ready? Let's give it a try.
Move.
So when the signal is not strong enough, it's just gonna turn,
Okay.
but not gonna move.
It's pretty hard to control your mind. I'm maybe a nervous person or something. For me, it's pretty hard to really focus, to control my mind. It didn't work out the way I thought it would, so I would still need some practice, I guess.
Try again. Up. Stop. Good, almost.
At first, I didn't know what my brain was doing so that it was working. And I also had the feeling that it is working when some area of my brain right here has a certain activity, so I tried to move something in my head.
Whatever you're doing, this is good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this video. We just filmed it.
So maybe we can clarify what was happening here. Why did I have trouble controlling the robot?
Yeah, so whatever device we have to do brain activity measurements or brain sensing, we cannot just put it on you as we literally did. We literally made yesterday, I just put the device on you and we started doing it right away. We cannot really do this in real life for a simple reason. We need to understand how your brain functions, how your brain works. It is the beauty and the curse of these types of systems. Each brain is unique. Even if you are to imagine that glass of wine, it's still going to be slightly different in each single head. Even if I'm going to put like literally this glass here and I will tell you, okay, all of you think about this glass, so we all look at the same glass, it's still going to be different. And it's normal. That's how the brain functions. So what we actually do in real life when we give the device to patients, to hospitals, to other users, we will do training. So the AI system will learn over several weeks when you wear the device how your brain actually looks, performs, and then we can actually adjust it. So what you did was really a rough demo, and each time you would take off the glasses, put them back on, we would need to start again. But when you are having the device over weeks and weeks and weeks, then actually AI will be very tailored towards you. Even if you are stressed, jet-lagged, depressed, under medication, under alcohol.
So it will get easier over time, even for a writer's mind like mine. You asked me yesterday. She asked me to do some calculations, and it didn't work at all. So yeah.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, even for creative minds, it's gonna definitely get easier. It is normal. Not everyone. It's easy to say for me. I have been doing this for 15 years. Oh, think about something. Because I know exactly how it works. I have designed the system. I have designed with the teams the algorithms behind those. So I know exactly what happens behind the scenes. For us, we also think, but it's easy to imagine a glass of water, a glass of wine, or think about something. No, it's actually not, because you really need to stay focused, and you really need to control each of your thoughts. What happens is that, oh, I'm doing mental calculus. Oh, no, that doesn't work. And you think you switched in your head. But no, you have not switched. The signal is still in your head, attenuating, that's a term, and the system still picks it up. So you think you changed, but actually no, it will take some time to change.
So what brain activity can be connected to a certain task? So what thoughts could trigger a new command?
So, for example, what we can do as tasks are effectively controlling different appliances. So we have a project where a person can control wheelchair, TV. So you would imagine an object in your head, and the object will turn on and off. Or a microwave, a tea kettle.
So it's mostly on and off.
That's one of the examples. So, for example, for this specific system, the idea is most of you might not need the system today, but a lot of people cannot just use a switch. They cannot use the voice. They cannot use any other means to control their surroundings. This is one of the examples. I know that we will have some other examples. There are examples in education, examples in attention and performance measurements, so I guess we're going to talk about those later. But this specific one, the app you have seen, the device you have seen, we have families here in Germany as well who are actually using the system as of today for communication purposes.
So it's not possible to tell your system, well, she's thinking of music, she's thinking of art, she's thinking of doing math, and link it with another command.
Oh, it is possible, yeah, absolutely, it is possible. You can, for example, say, okay, maybe a person is a musician. So yeah, absolutely, like if you would spend more time, so we actually talked, you would say, I'm actually a musician or a writer. For me, this is their task I usually do. So it will be fully tailored to you. So it is tailored to each patient.
So you are in the field for 15 years now?
Yes.
And maybe we can have a look at where you started.
Oh yeah, you can see.
Maybe you can elaborate on the picture.
This is like how it started, how it continues. I guess, well, I look on those pictures as an octopus. So yeah, that's immediately, let's be very honest. I started a long time ago, and this is how the technology evolved over the years. And right now on the market, there are a lot of devices that are very slim, like a little headband you can see from on that photo on the right for you, on the left. And the challenge here, as you have seen, is that, well, you're not going to work with any of those. Like each time I'm going to AR, VR conference where we hear, oh, there is like Meta standing on Facebook, Meta. Oh, there is like that other company, Magic Leap standing, billions of dollars, euros in valuation. I always ask one question. How many of people here are wearing any of those devices? Zero. And it's not because of you, the audience. No. In Silicon Valley, I literally went on one of those exclusive closed conferences. 0 people are wearing those because you're not going to walk with a VR headset on your head. But and you're also not going to walk with a headband. Maybe headband would be good enough for sports or something like that. You're not going to walk with it. But look at all of you. I see at least 20 people wearing a mask. It has contacts with your face, very tight. How many of you here are wearing a pair of glasses? How many of you are having a pair of headphones? Right now using the translation, all of you. And that's the beauty of this device. That's why I developed the pair of glasses, because what we need is a real system that you will be able to wear all the day, every day. Because the idea is to collect data continuously, Not that it's not comfortable for you, or we need to spend hundreds of euros for an hour of the study. No, we want to continue to collecting data before you had a stroke, before you stumbled and got a diagnosis of ALS, because those can be detected much earlier, and that is the beauty. And you don't need to do any training to wear a pair of glasses. No training.
So what are the main challenges when developing wearable devices?
Well, it's like easy,
the size?
It's easy to say what there are no challenges. I mean, the device is built fully by my team, so it's fully manufactured in the United States, fully. So there is no China there anywhere. And as you can imagine, cost goes very high. But in itself, the challenges are data privacy, regulating the data, the compute power. So compute power is basically how this system runs, so why this classification was happening, why the robot was moving. All of those are extremely expensive. Everyone marvels about ChatGPT. There is the price of running it. It's several GDPs of European countries just to run it. It's very expensive. So to build this is seven figures. I'm not going to tell you.
Or
no, this what you saw is already 6 years project, and there are 7 zeros there already. You know, it's extremely expensive to build a wearable because it is touching your face. And moreover, it collects the most intimate data you can produce. It needs to be comfortable. It needs to be, foolproof. It also needs to be doing what we claim it is doing. And in case it's broken, we should replace it, manufacturing pipeline. All of that is extremely, extremely cost prohibitive.
So the challenges you already overcome is the finance and the size?
Challenges. Those challenges, no one in the industry overcomes those. That's why you have all the for-profit companies raising and do you think why Elon is raising with his Neuralink? Because they need money. It just blows through. Well, ChatGPT AI valuation is total valuation 100 billion. Here you go. It goes onto power, onto compute, onto calculating it. So no one solves this. That's why there is raising capital, Series A, Series B, Series C, D, E, etc. No one solves this challenge. That's why a lot of companies partner with companies that already have the infrastructure in place.
So with each round, there's a question, do I go with military or do I go with ethics?
I mean, they are not. We need to understand there is no black and white. Military. I will give example of United States. I can then move to my home country, to France. Military is #1 funding agency to fund work for Veterans Affairs Office in United States. Veterans Affairs Office, I'm not sure if that exists in Germany, but this is where PTSD treatment happens. All the money, we can obviously question is, you created PTSD on those people, now you try to cure them. But I mean, how many people, in addition to military, have PTSD because they were abused when they were little, etc., etc.? They fund all of that work. And this is, for example, a great example of technology. So there is no black and white paint. And but obviously, for example, in some cases, we say no to funding. I did say no to some of the fundings because you need to stay on track. That's very important.
So this technology, is this the enhancement that of the body that humans were waiting for such a long time? I just thought of Fritz Lang's Metropolis.
I mean, 1928 for sure. And I mean that she was the robot, the first female robot. So definitely very exciting. But I don't think people were specifically waiting for it. It's more of the evolution. Technology evolves. We are extremely good in creating technology. Look, we are building it each single day. Someone is building something new. However, we are, as humans, we are not really developing with the technology on the same speed. Our brain is ancient. It is. It cannot keep up with everything we've done to it, all of this bombarding of messages and stuff. No, that's a no. Cognitive load for you, for me, for a child at school to learn how to use those is huge. AI now is a tool. However, if we're gonna not actually enhance ourselves, we're gonna lose this battle. So what I'm doing with this technology is enhancing us, humans. I'm not enhancing, I'm not doing tech for tech. I do not care about that. I solve real problems of humans. So that's what we are doing here.
How do you envision this changing the way we interact with computers in 10 years, but also in 50 years?
In 10 years, this technology will be more of the support for healthcare system, as I mentioned. We already work with hospitals, like one I did mention to you, like literally here in Germany, one of the families contacted me because the caretaker at the hospital was abusing the patient, and the patient is fully paralyzed. So they only have learned about this 6 months after the abuse was happening. Have no idea how you can abuse a fully paralyzed person, as this is not even humane. It's just some creature there. But so that will be support for hospitals, for patients. Then we're definitely going to move for more of communication and definitely for performance and attention management. It's going to be a tool, another tool. That's how we should treat it. However, hopefully this tool will enable us to possibly be more attentive, healthy, more performant, and will hopefully actually be this step to have a fusion between AI systems that's going to also evolve and our bioshell, bioentity. That is the idea.
So, are you also working on implants?
No, implants. Come on, can you imagine that? Like, I don't know if you all saw, like, I guess, Elon, yeah, you saw that. Right now, we're going to set up an implant in all of your heads. And then I will decide that, oh, I don't like this planet anymore. I'm evil research scientist. How are you gonna... You have no control over implants. Like, first of all, it's a surgery. It takes around 6 months to have rehabilitation after it. Do we all remember COVID? Yeah, COVID in this country and all the other countries, when hospitals were locked for all non-essential business. So imagine you're like running to your neurosurgeon, I need a surgery. Yeah, great, that's not happening. And second, how are you gonna update it? How are you gonna really trust a company put in an implant that you cannot take out yourself? Like, if I don't like this model of my watch I have here, I don't like the brand, I'm just gonna throw it away, buy another one. That's the idea. When it's non-invasive, you have some agency, you have the control. When it's implant, you do not have any control. I'm not saying that I'm against implants. They do a lot of good job on what's called deep brain stimulation, so epilepsy treatment, like very, very bad cases. So in some cases, they're great, but whatever is as of today, we are March 2023, there is nothing that implants can do that non-invasive systems cannot do. They are equal right now, absolutely. So why would you risk trust in a company when there are no legislation, neither in this country nor in US, really, that really protects you? And we can talk about GDPR afterwards. I have a lot of things to say there. But in itself, there is no trust right now because there is just no legislation, no proven track record of companies where you can effectively do it. Quick example before we move to another question, I highly recommend checking an article in New Yorker. It's open. And it's about brain implants and identity. So a company implanted 18 people with implants. For epilepsy treatment, so it was great, 2 years. Then the company went bankrupt. Guess what needed to happen? They went to all 18 people who lived with this implant, went through surgeries, spent time to learn how to use it, because it's also, by the way, training there. Oh yeah. Fun fact, implant doesn't magically work. You also need to train it for up to 6 months as well. They went and they took all those implants out. Yeah, because legislation doesn't support, this company doesn't exist. People said that they feel their body was violated. They feel that something that was good for them was taken. So that's one of the examples. So I highly recommend that work. Yeah.
Apart from healthcare and medicine, which are other fields and branches where this technology could be used? But maybe a brief note, for those of you who are watching online, please submit your questions via the Menti code. Maybe a direction you can put the slide back. to the blue screen. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I know that we're going to have some of the questions about the next use cases. So it's, as I mentioned, education, huge one. And then obviously attention and performance monitoring, where extreme environments are taking place and extreme conditions. And I know that we're going to have those as well.
So just, maybe I can, I got the control back. So who can control such a device?
So in this case, you see the photos are taken very badly, and I'm sorry about that, but these are real photos of a real patient taken by his mother, who is 65. She, just took those for me, and then the other one I took over Zoom. So in this case, you see an ALS patient, fully paralyzed. So this is the most advanced stage. You might know, for those who do not know, you are very lucky. ALS is a neurodegenerative disease. There is no cure currently for this disease. And in the beginning of the disease, there is a lot of support systems, like tracking of the eye. There is a lot of things that exist. However, in the later stages, in advanced stages, there is nothing, like nothing at all that exists. So when a person cannot move their eyes, cannot blink, cannot really swallow, cannot do anything, they need to be ventilated and intubated, but their brain is fully functioning. And 93% of Americans, and this is the statistics I know, refuse being intubated because they think that life is over, and obviously what type of life that is, we know about that, but their brain is functioning. So in this case, what you see is a person wearing my system, and they are communicating yes, no as responses. So, for example, like, do you want music on? Obviously, the person cannot use their eyes, so they cannot really see. And the response is being actually in the app, and obviously the person also can hear it. They have, like, do you want eye drops? Do you want me to check your tube? All of those. This doesn't restore, obviously, any type of real communication, but it's a bit better than nothing as of today. And the idea is that in 5-10 years, we're going to hopefully be enlarging this vocabulary and having more of this communication.
So for those of you who want to try the technology, Nataliya brought the tiny robot and the pair of glasses, so meet her in the lobby afterwards. So
also, can I please have some glass of water? It would be super helpful. Oh, perfect.
Here we see you are also working with children.
I do work with children. I love working with children. As I said, that's the future. And here, I don't know if you recognize what this is. Who knows what that is? Anyone? Yeah, what? It is. 5 points to Gryffindor. Yay! Yeah, it is. But actually, I don't know if you can move to the other slide. I think we have another picture there. Yeah, it's still a bit dark there, so you actually don't see what's happening under the head. We actually have sensors there, and they can pick up brain activity of a child. So what we have designed is a system that can talk to a child. It doesn't put them in any house or anything. It actually encourages them to share their opinions and actually improve their mindset. So basically saying that it's okay to be, if you are wrong, it's okay. So we have done a lot of experiments. And obviously the idea is that children love tangible, children love fantasy. They know that this is not fantasy. We have done these experiments with children who are like 10 to 12, so they understand it's not magic. But the idea is that they can be empowered by the technology when you also give them a bit of this technology. They get inspired, and also it hopefully does encourage them to actually do better at school, actually, and listen to the head. It does this as well.
But the technology has also, there's the possibility that it changes the brain activity patterns and the brain structure.
No, it doesn't do any of those. I mean, there is technology that sends stimulation, so like electrical activity back to your brain. We don't do that, but there's a lot of research.
Your colleague in the Economist video, she said that it can change the brain activity patterns.
Oh yeah, no, not this system, but in itself, yeah, the idea is I think what you're talking about is neuroplasticity. So what it does is effectively it would rewire a bit the structure in the sense of if you are being encouraged positively, that's the hope, of course. In itself, it doesn't really do the change, but if you actually listen to the head, like this mindset intervention that, hey, it's okay if you're wrong, you know, let's continue, like, and then in between it tells you what you're thinking about. Yeah, that's what it does.
So does the area of the brain that is responsible for fine motor skills, writing, craftsmanship, wither away when you use such a technology too much?
No, it's not. Actually, what happens is that we use it in rehabilitation, for example, with sportsmen who have traumas. And in a lot of cases, you might know.
What kind of traumas?
Like, you know, just like small surgery, for example. Like maybe they have fallen badly, so they cannot do exercises maybe for 3-4 weeks. And we have done experiments where we can see that mentally doing the action is the same as actually doing it. So once they cannot really move it, because, you know, in some cases you really need to wait for whatever the wound to actually heal, you would actually mentally do this imagination of the activity. Like in a lot of, if some of you practice sports, I do, for example, you would be asked to visualize like the trail you're running or something like that fully. So basically your brain will actually do this mapping. So you know exactly what's happening, what's not happening around in your surroundings.
So you told me that you're still taking notes by hand.
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not an iPad person. I'm not a Kindle person. I have paper books and I take notes because 5 types of memory activated when you are taking a written note, and only 2 when you are actually typing them.
But it's no connection to brain activity.
Oh no, I mean it is, of course, because you basically do not train those, brain parts, of course. So basically, if you're not training them, there is a higher possible potential risk of having more diseases later down the road. Moreover, you know, your memory, of course, is not working the same because you don't visualize it in the same way as a space, as a tangible object.
So we have to be careful with children and this technology.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. There is a lot of, I know that you had a question, a lot of repercussions. In our China, for example, a couple years ago, they tried to use a system to see when children are being attentive in the classroom.
Yeah. And it's a headband, and there are several lights. When it's red, the children are concentrated, and when it's yellow, they are not concentrated, and it's connected to the computer of the teacher, so he knows if a child is dreaming or if he's calculating.
They close this even in China, but again, we can see how, you know, absence of laws and regulations can go, you know, a big way for sure. But also, like, think about other objects, like, for example, even like, okay, with their education, like, you know, you can, a lot of schools, parents maybe will say no to this technology. But think about another one, you know, let's think about sleep. 1/3 of our lives we spend sleeping. 1/3. And how dangerous it would be if someone would want to manipulate your dreams. Like, and this already happens today. I really hope and I highly discourage everyone of having any type of speakers like Alexa and Google Home in your bedrooms. Do not do that. And today it's still okay, you know, it's still okay. And I know some of you might be having those, they do help you. I know, I understand it. I personally don't have any of those at home. But think about, okay, your Alexa at night, when you're in some specific sleep stages, you know maybe some of you that you have different sleep stages. So you have deep sleep, but you also have NREM, or rapid eye movements. And this is where basically a lot of things are happening when you are still not really unconscious, but you're not also fully conscious. Dali have been using this a lot. He have been falling asleep with a metal ball. And when he falls asleep and he's in this stage of sleep, the muscles relax, the ball drops, he wakes up and he takes notes. Einstein was also doing that. Anyway, imagine Alexa. I don't know if in Germany Amazon is popular, but Alexa will tell you, buy this book for $9.99, okay, if it's just a book. But what if it will tell you, go rob a bank? Go divorce your husband or your wife? Because, and guess what? Here in this country, there is no way to forbid it right now. So it's like, if people are like, yeah, not happening, yeah, sure, but what will actually prevent this from happening? There is no legislation.
So we need more awareness using all those technologies. And
yeah,
when
and
you
in
as
some
a
cases,
technologist say
not to use the technology, absolutely. And be very cautious about what technology can do to your surroundings. Can it facilitate? Sure. Can it help? Sure. But you don't want to be crippled with the technology. You want it to support you, but when you may hopefully don't need it anymore. The idea is that possibly you can then take off those glasses and go around your day, for example, but not rely on it constantly, because then there might be things that will happen that you are not in control, because you are not in control of the data, unfortunately, and you are not in control of what's happening. And maybe we will talk about this more.
Can someone get addicted to the technology? I mean, lots of people are addicted to smartphones.
Yeah, but I mean, smartphones are designed to be addicted. The scroller mechanism, you know, it was designed by a neuroscientist. The idea that you will just scroll like that is neuroscience work. From a guy from Stanford did it. He now doesn't work at Facebook anymore. Fun fact. Why would he not? Interesting. But that's the idea. It is designed to have your dopamine cycle. You are happy when you see a notification, and it's normal. You know where it comes from? From ancient times. In ancient times, there was no phones. There was like messaging, fires. You remember? Well, we don't remember that, but that's how it was in old history. And guess what's happening? Those were notifications like fire, person running from one village to another on a horse. That was notification. And they usually come about one thing, about danger. That's why it was so important. So if a person comes running on that horse, it means that something, maybe there is a war that broke, maybe some disease. So that's why our brain is designed for only one thing, and only one thing, to keep us alive. A lot of people think that brain is designed for a lot of other things. No, one function, one, keep you alive, and build everything around you to keep you alive. Why do you think when we are born we have no emotions, no love, no nothing? We don't know any of that. You know how a baby learns? When he sees a face and it feels better after this face approaches, that's how it learns that's a mother. That's how it learns it's love. And obviously, if there is opposite happens, abuse happens, that's how it, and it actually is wired very, very deeply. Then why do we look for couples? Or we think, oh, we look for partners, because our brain is tired of us and looks for ways to offload all of that mess on someone else, literally. Highly recommend a great book called How Emotions Are Made. Excellent book, read about that, I highly recommend. But the idea is that a lot of things that we are wired for, the notifications, they are just based on our fear that we're going to miss out on something. But really, there is not a lot of things you're going to miss out, because it was just designed from those old times. So yeah, we don't have, for example, me, like my husband, he's also in tech, we don't use all of those. We have very, very strict policies on how we use the tech, how we schedule the day, how we actually consult the phone. I don't have really an Apple Watch unless, for example, I do in sports, etc. And yeah, and I do highly encourage to just be more aware. Are you going to drop your phone because your children calling and it's in another city and it was COVID? Of course, no. No one tells you to drop those. Just be more aware of what it does to you. And that's it. No one says you should abandon, but you can put boundaries and you can just be a bit more happier. Just realizing what it does to your brain, how much you pay. You are the product. Your data is the product, but no one pays you back for that. So that's just that, just realizing that. Another example real quick before we move forward, work. For those of you who work, you think, oh, okay, I got a good email that I got, promotion. Awesome, that's excellent news. You think, well, it was work-related email at workspace. It's great, really, it boosts me. I want to work more, that's cool. Well, no, it takes you around 23 minutes to get back on your task. You think you got back on your task right away once you close that email. No, your brain still processes what happens. So all of those, just being aware of those, already will help you to possibly build your routine, make it healthier, basically putting your brain in calmer state, so diseases, a lot of those that do happen, they obviously are not fully under our control, but a lot of those could be hopefully pushed a bit further if you just putting the device away and have just more understanding what's happening around you. I guess it was, I don't know, because I do not obviously speak German, the last question, was it about, do you use AI? You all use AI. Each single person out of you just come in here, you used at least 17 different AI systems. All of you, it doesn't need to be ChatGPT, you all know, personal shoppers, the metro that runs here in Hamburg, all of that, right now you're looking at the screen, the demo you have seen, all of those, everything is AI-based today. You're already using it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe we can take a look at this one. Another one of your clients is NASA.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
Your goal is to optimize the work of astronauts. What does that mean? Optimize the work of astronauts with this technology.
Yeah, so that's one of my biggest founders of my work is NASA, effectively, of all other places and companies. And the idea is that exactly in some cases, in some conditions, when we want to help human to thrive in the environment that is very, very, very aggressive to them, like extreme environments like space. A lot of people don't realize that rocket is not everything you need to send a person to space. You also need that person. There is very strict limitations how you would use AI and automatic systems there, because the person needs to be in charge. And once months are passing by, when it's time for a touchdown or what we call re-entry, for example, on Mars or other planets, the mental state of a person is very different. The gravity, absence of gravity, changes your whole body. We have humongous amounts of radiation. All of that makes your brain activity very different. But what is pretty, I guess, sometimes not obvious for people is that when, for example, they will need to explore a new planet, they will need to first land on that planet. And there will be no Houston in their ear, because there is no yet connection to be really so seamless. So they need to be fully readily available, work as a team, work as one, to actually support themselves to do the actions that will be paramount for their survival, because it's not only landing, they need to go hopefully back, because as of now, there is no colonies ready to go. Elon, where are you? And that's the idea. And this is system, for example, the glasses here, they support them in monitoring their attention, performance, adjusting to different sleep cycles. An example, a lot of people might not know, Moon has a different schedule from Earth. It's almost 25 hours. And it sounds, we have 24, and there's just 1 hour more. A lot of people cannot adapt to 25 hours. It sounds like so ridiculous. It's just 1 hour. No. 30% of people actually are going in very bad mental shape when they try to readjust to 25 hours. It's not even 25, it's 24.6, I believe. So, and you think, but what it would do to you possibly if actually we will solve this problem? You will have possibly more hours. Just an example, you can adapt and adjust to other environments, to other spaces, because as we have seen from today, planet is being overheated, and we unfortunately, this mere exploration of Moon and Mars and others might become a necessity. And other extreme environments like deserts, underwater environments, if we'll still have that water anywhere left, extreme cold, extreme heat, they are not doing any good for our bodies. So that's where this technology comes in.
Mm-hmm. And so you say the brain, it's not dangerous to be underwater 24 hours or 25 hours? Or?
No, it is. What it does, they need to adapt to that, because that's the whole idea. If they want to build a colony there, they will need to adapt it. So the brain will get rewired, and then basically we'll see what happens with the brain when it happens. So are they adapting to it or not? We can monitor their sleep cycle. We can monitor when they're doing on the task, etc., etc.
What kind of tasks do you?
It's very specific tasks. So you might know, obviously, astronauts go through a lot of batteries of tasks. Some of the tasks are actually happening on them. They're being tested 6 hours after they re-entered Earth. So that video, when you see when they're in the water, they're almost being carried because they didn't have gravity. 6 hours afterwards, they need to do a whole battery of tasks to see the reaction time, brain activity, and others. So basically, some of those tasks will involve docking. For example, as you know, a lot of things are being shipped to ISS, International Space Station, and they need to capture. Like, people think everything is automatic, just it's like flies from us, just talks nicely. No, you need to actually capture it. And as you can imagine, ISS being very old and fragile, well, you're not going to just like randomly do that. You need to actually use special tool for this. It's called Canada Arm. Canada contributed to ISS with that tool, and you will need to actually pull this, shipment with the cargo. And that's, for example, one of the specific tasks they are being trained. This is a very, very complicated task. And this is where, for example, we are measuring how attention performance changes. And NASA, for example, would not allow, when the conditions are not favorable, like levels 10 to 12, they would not even allow to attempt docking, not to ensure that the tool is not broken over there. So a lot of people think it's all automatic and smooth. It's a lot of human work there. It's a lot of manual labor there. They live literally in very bad conditions. You might know it's literally trash there. You might know because there's nowhere to put trash. They literally live in trash. You might not know, but astronauts take 3 shirts with them usually. 3 shirts, literally 3 shirts. I said exactly what I said. One, they exercise. They need to do it each day. And it's, as you can imagine, very smelly. And once it becomes really smelly, it will stay next to exercise units with the shirts of other people. One shirt they will use for eating and doing other exercises. And the third one, they use it for videos. So when we want to connect to them and see them and, oh, hey, it's so cute, you're so cute. And they say they never do anything in that third shirt because, you know why? If something drops, they don't have any other shirts. They don't have any cleaning solution, Those quarters are worse than prison. It's the most, all the astronauts saying, the most beautiful prison, the dirtiest prison is there. So mental state, obviously, is not the best. And like with some, countries now being also at the same time when ISS, conflicts can arise. It's normal. Let's put it mildly like that. So yeah, and imagine if they're away and away. Like ISS is still within the reach, but like Mars, Venus, no.
Yeah, a few weeks ago there was in the news that some astronauts have to stay like 6 months longer than they were supposed to, or I think even a year longer. So that's horrible.
It is.
Coming to chances for the elderly.
Yeah.
What areas of our lives and the lives of the older generation can this technology revolutionize?
Well, good news, we're all going to be old, so we do actually need to care a lot. That's first one. Second one, what is important is that obviously the diseases that come with age are not going to go away anywhere, unfortunately. We hopefully will be able to cure some, but we definitely might develop some other ones along the road with the climate change and other issues happening. So definitely just even having the support system where you can be diagnosed much earlier with the condition prior to the condition happening, because in a lot of cases you have
What kind of condition?
ALS, for example, ALS or dementia, Parkinson's. Obviously, again, no cure along the road, but on the very early stages, there are actually pretty promising molecules that already exist. So if the earlier you start the treatment, the higher you have a chance that it will develop much slower, it can be controlled. Possibly, of course, not cured just yet. This is just as one of the examples. Again, think about stroke condition. Think about the conditions where, something happens and the change is so subtle, no one really perceives you. But if you're wearing the device, because you're actually going to wear a pair of glasses, we all have the vision where we would need to wear a pair of glasses. A lot of us start very early. So it's a normal device. And this is just an example. As I mentioned, it doesn't need to be a pair of glasses. Headphones, face mask, you name it. And the idea is that because we're going to have even more technology coming in our lives that we are building in, we really need to ensure that those who can benefit from the technology, which in itself, all of us, can also be actually included in the development of this technology.
In your daily business routine, how are elderly people involved in the development of those devices?
We do elderly, young, astronauts, these, all of ages, we include from the very beginning. And again, like the earlier picture you saw, for example, for ALS, we collected the feedback, from the very start. And for example, we learned that, hey, You might be not having a higher education. You might not have a phone. You might not know how to type, you know. So you're not going to do assumptions of, oh, this is your average, you know, person using it. No, it needs to be simple that anyone, like anyone can use it. Like a child, an adult, regardless of education level. We should not do any assumptions of, oh, you're just going to learn, you know. No, it needs to be, this is a beauty of the technology. We can build it in the way that you do not need to feel that it's a torture. That, oh my God, like I need to do all the training, am I stupid? No, you're not stupid. It's people who designed it, who didn't do it good enough. They are not very, very good in what they have done. I mean, design is bad, not you are bad. It's really about those who design it, and I'm very serious. It's like, I'm always looking at this, like those VR headsets, I'm like, just why we are doing this? Because we just translated how we use regular mouse keyboard into this headset. That's not how it was supposed to happen. You do not translate new modality from old modality. Same here. This is a completely new way of communicating. You do not do this direct translation because there's no typing anymore or voice. There is new ways that we need to discover on how doing that. That's why you need to include people who will be effectively using. Like, yeah, if I'm designing this for a person who has an LS, I need to talk to everyone who has an LS on different stages, their caregivers, everyone. And that's how we see some of the companies don't do due diligence. That's how, you know, Google Glass failed, as we know. It was actually not ever tested with people outside Google campus. As we saw how that worked out, you know, and much more examples down the road. If you don't want that to happen, if you want your tech to be used, because my goal is for the tech to be used, for the problem to be solved. It may be not a perfect prototype, but that imperfect prototype is in hands of hundreds of people who use it to their benefit today, not in 5 years or 10 years.
So just a short invitation, please slide to menti.com and do the poll so we can see if you change your mind during our conversation. So what do you think, what are the hurdles that need to be overcome for this technology to become more widespread? You said like 100 people are using it at the moment.
I mean, right now here in the world, there may be in total for these technologies, like brain sensing in overall, maybe there is a couple thousand tops, invasive and non-invasive. So definitely, you know, we need to understand. And honestly, I can tell you, it's maybe not bad news at all, because once the technology is out of the window, that is gone. Like, we lost our battle against social media. That train is long gone, and we paid, all of us, we paid with our data and with mental health and whatnot. Now we are seeing what happens with AI. You understand that it did not happen overnight. ChatGPT was released possibly overnight to make it public, but it was in development for years and years and years. Same here. It might be excellent that there is only, you know, a couple hundred here and there using it because we don't have any readiness in any of the countries, neither legally, no ethically, nowhere even we're going to use it. Like, no one is ready. But this technology, once it's out, like, AI will just be like, hold my beer, as we're in Germany, like, because this will be really possibly the ultimate end if we don't really prepare ourselves. So it's actually excellent that we still have, it's very, very emerging, you know, it's not perfect, and it's still great, I would say.
We often have the situations that governments are not fast enough for developments in the tech industry. So what do you think needs to change in the GDPR, the Datenschutzgrundverordnung, so that it can protect us?
Well, first of all, I guess we all know that GDPR doesn't protect you. I mean, it does attempt to protect you. For sure it does, good intent, but the problem of GDPR and everything else, actually, it's not only GDPR, it's not proactive, it's reactive. So what happens is, oh, this company, like, do you hear this? This company violated this data. This company stole the data. Oh, let me just write you a check. How many billions? 7 billions? Okay, here you go. 3 billion, here you go. What is this patching of European Union? Like, oh, let's just put a Band-Aid. Let's just collect money because this company violated. Those companies don't care. They possibly just do it and just, that's basically the price. Yeah, okay, I want your data. How much it's gonna cost us if that person in Brussels will like be unhappy? Yeah, that will be amount. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Don't you think they do it? Of course they do it. I have overheard some of those conversations. It's easier to pay, but we're gonna have all of the data. And you still need to work out to get those money. So that's first thing. Second thing, investment. Like, how many GPUs, so GPU is a graphic processing unit. So basically all that AI that you saw, ChatGPT, what you saw for the glasses, it all runs on those GPUs. You can read about those. How many are manufactured in Germany? How many are manufactured in France? How many manufactured in European Union? 0. 0. How many in States? Hundreds. How many in Taiwan? South Korea? China? Where's European Union there? There is no. I literally checked the stats because I was like, no way, no one does it. I literally checked, just spent just 1 hour just today to double check. Like, someone? Like, no, nothing happens in European Union. So of course, if you're not going to invest in right places, how are you going to keep up? It's all reaction and patching and Band-Aid smashing. Yeah, and obviously, folks need to hire more teams that will help them to understand the technology. It's okay if you don't understand everything. It's totally fine. So we hire those people to represent us. They're humans, they cannot understand everything, it's fine, it's absolutely fine. But that's why you hire aides. You have people who can talk to you, who actually can explain, but you should not be having any pride. You should just say, hey, I don't understand that, can you explain that to me? Why should we care? Why that is urgent? Yeah, and of course, like solving all of the other problems, I mean, and those are all important problems, but like that's how you basically snowball and just forget that, oh, we don't have money for GPUs because we need to solve energy crisis. And totally we need to solve, people need to be warm. Warmth is more important than GPU, of course, but on the longer run, if you have no money there, it's not gonna build overnight, that's the problem. Nothing here that you saw is overnight, nothing. And if there will be no change in legislation and financing, yeah, like, I left European Union. How many are? I have I told you, 4 students right now sitting, just chatting this morning from TUM, you know, Technische Universität of Munich, doing like internships and stuff. How many will effectively come back? You know, and why? That's the question.
And what do you think, what potential benefits does this technology bring to an aging society overall, not just for the individual, for the whole society?
I guess we all kind of will be basically catching up in the sense of a lot of people always consider, I hear it from a lot of people, oh, like aging populations, they don't have any troubles and all good. And then now people can actually put themselves in their shoes, which is great with this technology. A lot of people, in a lot of cases, a lot of categories of people have more free time. So now it's like, oh, what are you going to do with that? Or no jobs, what are you going to do about that? And also, obviously, you know, a lot of improvements in the sense of actually life expectancy. That's huge. It's going to go higher, and it is great news, meaning that if in my country we're going to do that reform of 64 years, oh my God, or not, we will have, you know, in the longer run, hopefully, people who actually also live, you know, longer, but also can enjoy life for longer, and it have more enjoyable in the sense of health, which is very, very important.
So I hope you all submitted your poll. Direction, can we see the Menti? Yeah. Did it change? No. Or? So
yes.
Most of you are still skeptical. Is that right?
You should. I don't know what those questions are, but you definitely should be skeptical.
Yeah, in the back there is the English translation.
Oh yeah, perfect.
So coming to your questions, are there any questions? You can also submit them in German. There in the back.
There is a person just here.
Hi, hello. Okay. Super interesting, everything. Mind-boggling. I just have a question. I can't wrap my head around the fact that all this IA couldn't change the brain in itself, in its physical thing. Just, for example, because ADHD, people have less gray matter and white matter, and it's proven through neurofeedback you can build this matter. So I thought this is something that changes the brain. So isn't there more possibilities to change the brain through IA?
Yeah, so I guess real quick, you have kind of two parts to this question. So first of all, as I mentioned, brain is actually very, as I said already, very ancient, doesn't like to change. And it's very hard to actually fully rewire. Like, I talk a lot, I'm not going to go into that because it's a completely separate topic actually about the brain. But you might know that a lot of people think that 25 is the magic age where nothing else comes in. I say it's age 10. Around 10, and I know it sounds pretty bad when I say that, but a lot of work. Yeah, I know, a lot of work. Yes, it's actually, basically all the basic stuff that you need to know about environment, behavior, and also how you're gonna be in future. Think about, don't want to really mention, but serial killers and stuff like that. It does actually, unfortunately, go very early in age. So that's on one side. On the other side, rewiring would allow you, basically you cannot consume this information at this speed. So you think that, AI can change it, but you cannot really consume it. Do you know that each 1/8 of a second right now, your brain is blind. Your brain doesn't see anything that happens in this room, how perfect your vision is. 1/8 of a second, your brain is fully shut down. You are not scared of this and you don't see this because your brain has a mental map of the space. So if you don't have any conditions that are underlying, you're not going to be able to perceive it. But 1/8 of the second, each 1/8 of a second, your brain shuts down, recomputes, reshares the image with you. So that's the idea. Do you know that when you entered this room, you actually immediately took an actual example of where the exit is? That's exactly what I say about survival. All of you know approximate distance to the exit right now, if I'm going to ask you. Approximate, but all of you, you didn't really mentally, no one instructed you, check where exits are. We're not on the plane. But you did this. Your brain did this for you. And that's why rewiring actually, remember I told you about the little baby, when they are born? The major changes happen when the woman is still pregnant. I know it sounds like so crazy, but there's so much research which I recommend you if you're interested in this direction. That's why it's age 10, unfortunately. So everything you actually gonna consume, treat, the basic major development, that's about it. Then obviously you can put in knowledge, and the idea where AI can help is designing new ways to possibly have the integration on the physical level. For example, I have invited a very interesting speaker for one of my conferences recently who designs live wires, so live electrodes. So electrodes that are not, everything is based on silicon that we use today. So he designs the ones that are live, so they can actually connect. So implant is alive. It's built of live cells, so it can actually connect to the brains. It's still research in animals, of course, but this is powerful. This is interesting. So that's where the future will be, where we can actually have this integration possibly on physical level. But as of now, and that's why this whole talk is here, that we are still to produce 1 minute of our brain work, we need 73 supercomputers right now connected. 1 minute of our brain activity. 23 supercomputers are needed to produce 1 minute of a mouse's brain, of a little mouse. So wow. We are still more powerful than any AIs of today, so this is good news. If you need to take one message and sleep well at night, that's the message. You can go. We are done with this talk. However, the idea is that is there a potential of building ultimate integration? Yes. That's the idea. Ultimate integration is the idea. But the idea is that also matrix ideas that you can actually be liberated because you will understand it, that's actually the solution here. Hopefully that answers the question.
Are there any other questions? in front.
Danke. Ich habe eine technische Frage. Wir kennen doch alle EEGs.
Maybe you can wait a second and start over. She's getting a translation. Entschuldigung, sie kriegt jetzt eine Übersetzung. Vielleicht können Sie noch mal von vorne anfangen.
Ich habe zwei Fragen. Eine ist eine technische Art. Wir kennen doch alle EEGs. Von früher, da war der ganze Kopf mit Elektroden übersät. Und jetzt haben Sie eine Brille auf, die ja nur an, glaube ich, 4 Stellen Kontakt überhaupt mit dem Körper hat, also mit der Kopfhaut hat. Wie machen Sie das technisch? Was erheben Sie überhaupt? Das ist die eine Frage. Und die andere Frage ist die, Sie haben doch gesagt, dass man, wenn man diese Brillen dauernd trägt, dass man dann sehen kann, wie die Zustände vor einer Krankheit sind. Das setzt aber ja voraus, dass wir Informationen darüber haben, wie die EEGs, sagen wir mal, ein halbes Jahr vor einem Schlaganfall sind. Haben wir diese Informationen überhaupt?
Sorry, I didn't get your first question. I put it too late, but I did get your second. So let's start with the second. So yeah, you are absolutely right. We need information how it looked before a condition like a stroke. And that's the beauty of the device, that you can wear it continuously as an everyday device, and it will have this information. So basically, you would be wearing it, and over weeks and months, you will have the pattern, and you will see if there is a change. And you will see there's something is happening, that there is basically possibly a chance that you might need to have a check. So yeah, basically the idea is that before you need to have, right now what we have is we have what we call healthy brain. And for example, like person who already had a stroke. So we can already compare the two. If it isn't continuous, that's the idea that you would wear, you will have so many examples basically when you are eating, dancing, commuting, and those would be actually different over time. And if there is a stroke risk, you will see some of those changes, and we know how those changes would look like. And because we do have these measurements before on some people, and in some cases, we are very lucky, and these are not very often when cases happen, for example, in the hospital. So the stroke happens in the hospital. So we do have this early on recording to actually know that, hey, if it's going to continue, like the wave is going to continue this way, and I'm oversimplifying here, there is a chance that the stroke might happen. So that's why we do need more data, and that's why we need, and it's personalized. So that's also why this technology is not like right now readily available, because it's so different among everyone. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first one.
The first one is a technical question. Maybe we can get the slides back on screen. Concerning EEG, how is it possible that at first you have the whole head full of electrodes, and now you have the glasses, and she asks for the 4 signs you catch up. It's like
So basically, so it's not, they are not all the same ones. So the one that is like the third image, so there are 4 images. The third image where I look like an octopus, no VR there, it has 128 channels. We usually use those headsets to understand which parts actually are activated for different tasks. So we know, so for example, this area is important for this task, at least more important, and this area is more important for the other task. And then we will do mapping. So we will say, okay, it's $100,000 device. No, a lot of labs don't have even access to this technology. So, but we can build 16 channel, or 8 channel, or 2 channel, or 4 channel. So very small systems. So they're not gonna replace exactly, but we know that those parts of the brain, if you put electrodes around those areas, they will be hopefully the most contributing. That's how we basically know. It's throughout an experimentation. And also we know that, for example, some specific parts of the brain, like motor cortex, that's first image here, it's where you see orange electrodes, these are good placements for motor imagery, for example. It's like premotor motor cortex. So there is no point if I'm asking you just to do me yes and no response. There is no point for me to give you this type of headset. It will be more meaningful to do it if you're a sportsman and we are working on some imagination or rehabilitation of movements or after stroke rehabilitation where we actually want to see those activations there. So it's basically not, neither is really matching one another. They're not the same. They're not supposed to be the same. In some cases, it's approximate mapping. In some cases, you can do some things with one device, and you cannot do them with that same device because there's just no coverage. So it doesn't cover that area. There will be no real way to get that information from that area. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that answered your question.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is there another question? In the front, maybe first. Jetzt ist.
Danke. Danke. Wenn ich Sie richtig verstehe, dann haben wir es nach wie vor mit der künstlichen Intelligenz in der Hand, darüber zu bestimmen, wie die künstliche Intelligenz uns hilft. Ich habe einen Versuch gesehen, das ist vielleicht 2 Jahre her, an der TU Aachen, wo man Folgendes getestet hat. Es gab eine Obstabteilung in einem Kaufhaus und es gab 20 Probanden, die man über einen gewissen Zeitraum in diese Obstabteilung geschickt hat und wo man dann feststellen konnte, der eine ist ein Leckermaul für Erdbeeren, der andere ist mehr für etwas saftiges Gemüse etc. pp. Dann hat man diese Leute mit, ich weiß nicht mehr was, auf dem Kopf in dieses Geschäft geschickt und dann hat man gewusst, Mr. A isst gerne Erdbeeren zum Beispiel. In dem Moment, wo er sich diesem Stand näherte, wurde der Preis von 2,10 € abgelistet auf 3,20 €. Und dies ist für mich, das ist wahrscheinlich nicht KI, sondern Database, weil man weiß, da gibt es Leute, die da nach und nach. Nur wenn ich mir überlege, wie in Zukunft wir in Kaufhäusern bei Edeka oder sonst was nur noch reingehen müssen, niemand mehr fragen, alles wird auch schon automatisch bezahlt, dann habe ich den Eindruck, dass ich nicht mehr Herr des Verfahrens bin, sondern derjenige, der da hinten irgendwo sitzt und sagt, der Monsieur war da, Erdbeeren sind teurer geworden. Danke.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you are absolutely right, and I need to say that, and I know that will sound depressing, you are already not in control. You know that neuromarketing, you know that's the term, official term, it's very brutal, and here in Germany, everywhere in the world, you know that, again, one example, if you're gonna go to the store and in the wine store to get your wine and there will be French music playing, you will 93% probability that you will leave with a bottle of French wine. Because you have been primed. That's the official term, priming. And it's happening all the time. Like, for example, like, Katharina, you look so fabulous. This red just attenuates your look. And I'm doing it right now very, very fast. But if I'm going to give you compliments for 10 minutes, I'm going to say, can you give me a ride, please? The probability that you're going to tell me yes is around 100%. That is also priming. There are so many examples. That's actual phenomena. And it's used in the shops already. And that's why, the shop's already using it. You don't even need a headset. Because what happens, you all know, you have your ticket, and if you have your little shop card, I don't know how it's called, like fidelity card, that you're just gonna scan, you know that they store information and you send you, if you buy 4 of those strawberries, you're gonna have your 5% discount. That is obviously ridiculous, but because they see that you buy those strawberries each single day, that is already AI. You are already not in control because I know that you purchase them. I don't even need to put a headset on you to do that. That's how, all of the designs of the stores. Another example, if there is a big store and there is no music playing in the store, you will enter the store, you might have a huge shopping list. If no music is playing, within 10 minutes you're gonna leave the store because you don't feel comfortable without music being played. That's why in a lot of restaurants you have fast music and slow music to make you eat faster, to make you get out of the place faster. That's why you have fast music. Like, just go, 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 spend your money, and like, get out. We are done with you. That's why it's in a lot of airports you have that music. So that's one of the work projects I do with NASA. That's why I do this a lot of. Each single astronaut takes one thing with them. They take a pair of headphones. They listen to music. There is no private space. Over there, in a lot of our lives, we also don't have private space, so headphones and music is our private space. And it's such a powerful medium, you cannot even imagine. So definitely, there's a lot of work I do with music, so it's a very close topic for sure. But yeah, unfortunately, your AI is already there, you don't need headset, and it's already overselling you your strawberries.
Yeah, and if you ever checked the prices of a product online with your Apple computer or an old Windows computer that you still in your cupboard, try the old Windows computer. It's cheaper. There was one last question in the middle, I think, yeah.
Guten Tag, ich habe eine Frage, oder mehrere Fragen eigentlich. Ich habe das Problem, Sie schildern das alles so toll. Mir fehlt die Technikfolgeabschätzung. Also sprich, was passiert, wenn irgendwas in Zukunft weiter passiert? Und dann habe ich ein Problem, dass es keine Gesetzlage gibt, die dann da eingreift. Es gibt da unendliche Möglichkeiten, auch in Zukunft. Und die andere Sache ist, wo bleibt die Ethik, was auch eine große Rolle spielt. Ich denke nur an Dolly, an die Genmanipulation. Das ist in Deutschland verboten, in anderen Ländern ist es möglich. Deswegen wird vieles auch nicht in Europa gemacht, was Sie angedeutet haben. Und das Letzte ist eigentlich so, die 2, 3 Welten, die Sie gesagt haben, kann ich verstehen von Ihrer Seite. Ich bin immer der Meinung, man sollte diese Welt hier retten und nicht irgendwo zum Mars fliegen. Letzter Satz zu Ihrer Homepage, was wir uns da anheben. Also die Memento, da sage ich mir, müsste irgendwo eine Information kommen, was ist mit dem Datenschutz, weil Sie es auch schon erwähnt haben, meine IP-Adresse wird genannt und. Und ich will nicht weiter erzählen.
Yeah.
Entschuldigung.
Maybe a brief answer to a long question.
Yes. So definitely gonna be brief. Let me just get back, for example, to NASA. Awesome example. Totally agree with you. Guess what? There is money and there is need and there is funding. Guess how much funding is there for ALS versus NASA? Do I need to answer you this question? It's thousands of euros versus 8, 9, 10 figures. And I'm not going to cite a company, came for funding with all my credentials, said, I want to help fully paralyzed patients. That's my project I was doing PhD. I didn't jump on it, just because I want to do it. It's through my PhD I was still doing it. The person asked me, running a huge company in US, how many people have ALS? I said, where? In this country? Yeah, in this country. I said 40,000. It's like, only 40,000? That was your answer to the NASA. So you are totally right. Why would we do that? Because people don't even care in a lot of cases. Unless the disease will effectively touch you, they don't know, unfortunately. And they don't care. They're not going to give you that check. So that's one. And that work with NASA, for example, would allow me to give, you saw that on the picture, maybe it was a bit fast. The device is exactly the same. It's a pair of glasses, so I can give those devices to the astronauts, but at the same time, I can get some of those to those who can also use it for communication. That's like first one for the funding. And the other ones, all the other points. I agree with you that law is not there. We talked about this. And the problem is that even when you contact, the policymakers, they have other things in mind, And even me talking, sharing in simple terms as much as I can, hopefully you did. I know it's also language barrier. I know that definitely adds a lot of cognitive load on you actually at 8 p.m. But even just offering to talk about it in simple terms. I have actually several projects we don't talk here where I only talk about dystopian outcomes. You can check on my website actually. The project is called Neurofutures, where I actually have full vision if all of those will become reality. all those Matrix, Star Wars, Black Mirror, I don't know if it's popular here, all of those, we did talk, we made a huge project, it was like 12 people, huge team, actually talking to all ages about what it will become a reality. But guess what, everyone just takes it that, oh, we have other problems to solve, but then there are other problems are not solved, they're again band-aided, and then this one, it's being developed. And no one is gonna stop it from developing. It is the loudest revolution. This is this revolution, and it is silent as all the other loudest revolutions. So that's also something to think about, how you can make a difference, because in Europe we are lucky that, well, in my country you can go out on the street, do the mass, and possibly they will hear you. And that's in most countries, not in US, but in a lot of countries in European Union, you can do that still, where you can make a change. If you need to really do the revolution as it was, several centuries ago, hopefully not, but you do have a voice. Legislators will hear you if you actually do speak loud. They don't always want to hear to us, even if we make an effort to talk, but in a lot of cases, you might actually also want to take it to the next level. And you will be able to do it. You don't need to understand it. It's enough that you understand your brain. It's enough that you understand how this will actually change you. That's already more than enough for you to speak out, because you have all the rights. Mm-hmm. And right now, you're not being granted those rights. And you should definitely take some control back. That's what this technology is about. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking to you. I'm going to the valley a lot of times, but that's why I'm also talking to you guys here, just because of that. So to give you a bit more of control. So hopefully you feel that in the end of this talk.
Nataliya, one last question for this evening, and it's probably as German as it can be.
Awesome, love it.
In Germany, we have this old song from the 18th century, Die Gedanken sind frei. In English, thoughts are free, and the first verse says, thoughts are free, who can guess them? They fly by like nocturnal shadows, no person can know them, no hunter can shoot them. And so it'll always be, thoughts are free. Nataliya, is this popular German song outdated in 2023?
We might need to update it a bit. That's a sin. We might need, but that's why we are here. The history was written. We learn nothing from history. We already saw this with all other examples. We learn nothing with what happens with the technology, but that's hopefully what this technology can give you, power to rewrite, to update, to write a new one. Not with ChatGPT, but yourself.
Thank you, Nataliya Kosmyna. Thank you for sharing your ideas and insights. Yeah, thank you for your attention and your questions. Please join us outside for some drinks. Have a nice evening. Thank you.